G'day guys and welcome to the Centre Bounce. For this impromptu video, I just had to get it out. Geez, my emotions went absolutely crazy today because, of course, as you all would know, the news broken by Mitch Cleary, there is going to be Wildcard weekend next year. Starting 2026, there will be Wildcard Round. It had been rumoured, it had been contemplated in the past. If you know me, I have been so vehemently against it. It is happening next year. 7th will play against 10th and 8th will play against 9th in that end of season bye. That week off between the home and away season and the final series. It's essentially the final series has essentially been added an extra weekend during that bye round. It will be called Wildcard Weekend or Wildcard Round. And 7th and 8th, despite qualifying for finals, will have to play an extra game to justify their finish. And those who finish 9th and 10th, congratulations. You have essentially made it to finals because you're playing now in a top 10 arrangement. Because these are, regardless of what you want to call it, they are a form of elimination final. You play the game, you win, you go on. You lose, you go home. So essentially, we are now, ladies and gentlemen, entering into an era of top 10. The top 8 is gone. You might say, oh no, it might not count as a final. They haven't got that sorted out just yet. It's just no. It is basically, practically, in essence, a top 10 finish in a league of 18. More than half of the league can play finals football, essentially. So I was always against this, and I still am completely against it. I do not like this implementation of the wildcard round. And you might have been able to tell from the thumbnail, it really gives me a lot of Macbeth vibes, what's happening at the AFL at this point in time. A lot of Macbeth vibes. The desire, the ambition is unfortunately creating decisions that I don't think are in the club's are in the AFL's best interests. I think a lot of it is driven by the wrong reasons, trying to attain the wrong things, and then hoping that some positives come along with it. And I know the common positive that I'm sure that will be touted is the fact that now that you're playing with this top 10 format, you're going to have less dead rubber games, because at the end of the season, you could be 10th place, I think, was pretty comfortably outside of the 8th. And so, their fans might not be so into it, as well as the fans above. If you're 7th and 8th, you are constantly sweating buckets every single week, even till the end of the season, because guess what? Whilst you might have made it into the top 8, that no longer is good enough. If you lose in that bye week, in that wildcard round, you still go home. Now, I'm an Essendon supporter, as you can tell, and you might be thinking, Joe, why aren't you more excited about the idea of your shitty team potentially having an extra chance at winning? Because I can't love Essendon without loving football more. Because what's the point in loving a football team if you don't love football? I have had no family members play for this club. I've never played for this club. I've got zero affiliation with it. The players come and go. They retire. They get traded. They get delisted. What is it that you can be so infatuated with a team? It's the game. It's the game, ultimately. And I am, first and foremost, a lover of AFL football. Not an exclusive. My love for football is not exclusively only for the Essendon Football Club. It's highly motivated by a desire for a very strong AFL. And I, unfortunately, am not seeing a strong AFL with a lot of the decisions that are being made right now. Because I think it is clear that you're looking at a generation of Muller. That, to me, seems to be the primary agenda, the primary objective. It's about the money. What am I talking about? Well, you might have seen in the thumbnail various sponsors of the AFL, which are, of course, the three witches who give to Macbeth the prophecy that he will one day be the king. So the king, the AFL, Andrew Dillon, and his acolytes are being sold a dream, a vision, a prophecy of success. And who is benefiting from it? More games obviously means more broadcasting, obviously means more betting, means more travel to get to these games. Means more score reviews, which means you're going to get more of those, of course, crypto.com ads that pop up. More games obviously means more ads during the games. What has the AFL been trying to implement in recent years? We want more goals. We want more goals. Free flowing, open the game. We want more goals to be kicked. Well, what's the big benefit of having goals being kicked? You play ads after every single goal. I think it is becoming more and more obvious as the years go on that that's what the AFL is trying to accomplish. The AFL is trying to really milk this game for everything that it's got. And all of these decisions that can be made, of course, can be supplemented with, look at the benefits that we're getting out of this. There's so much good, and they can frame it in a way where you're like, okay, fine, I can see the rationale, the justification for it. But you cannot shake, though, that perception that I think is growing slowly but surely through the footballing public. You cannot shake that perception of the cash grab. I don't think you can. I think more and more people are becoming more and more skeptical about the decisions being made. The AFL is concerned about the extra time it's taking to recall a bounce. I haven't sat and timed in total how long it took to recall every botched bounce, but I'm pretty confident that they would not amount to 2 full games of football, because that's essentially what we've now done. You've added 2 extra games of football in this wildcard round. You've also added, of course, more football in opening round. Now, who asked for that? Nobody. Who's asked for wildcard round? Nobody. Nobody's asked for these things. No one asked for gather round either. But I will say that this is a great success. Having been someone that actually went to it this year, great. Love it. Love the concept of gather round. But this, though, is different. This is a different implementation in that it's now perverting, I suppose, the structure of the meritocracy of the league. Because it's no longer now a top 8. You just simply have to aim for a top 10. You aim for a top 10 and you're playing finals football. Now, a lot of people might simply be saying, look, it's already hard enough for teams that finish in 7 and 8 to win the flag. It happens so rarely. Well, now you can absolutely put the nail in the coffin if you finish 7th or 8th. It is why would anyone want to finish 7th or 8th at this point? What, so that you get the extra home ground advantage in wildcard round? You're playing an extra game. You have to win 5 games to win the whole thing. Are you kidding me? This is It was already hard enough to win 4 games. You're now going to add a 5th. 7th and 8th will never win the flag. Never. What are you accomplishing? And if 7th and 8th were never going to win the flag now, what chances are 9 and 10 going to have if they could not make it into the original top 8? So what are you achieving? What are you achieving? Because not only do they have to win 5 games if you're 7th or 8th, same thing for 9th and 10th, but 7th and 8th are the ones that have been hard done by. Because not only do they have to play an extra game to justify their existence in the final series, they're also then playing against teams that finished above them, the top 6, right? They all get the week off. So the top 6 get the week off. The top 6 are well rested. The top 6 are fine and ready to go. And they've finished higher than those teams in 7th and 8th. But guess what? You 7th and 8th, you don't get no break. No, you don't get a break. You have to play an extra game. And guess what? It's an elimination final. You lose, you go home. So you have to play with all you've got. And then you're going up against 5th and 6th, who are both well rested and ready to go. Where is... You've essentially, in my mind, in adding the potential for other teams to play in the finals, you've actually reduced the number of viable contenders. Does that make sense? Because you've increased the openness of the top 8 of the finalists now to top 10, right? Top 10 out of 18. More than half of the competition can now play finals. But in doing so, you've still reduced the number of viable contenders to the top 6. Now, there has been Wildcard Round implemented in the VFL. This is not something that the AFL have just simply pulled out of the hat. They've actually started it in the VFL since 2023. Only once has a team played in the wildcard round and then won their elimination final the following week. Only one so far in this time period. The other seasons have been the win and then you get thumped the following week. And you know why you get thumped the following week? Because you've had to play a do or die clash the week before and you're going up against another team that is well rested. It is quite frankly ridiculous. I don't quite understand how you end up reducing the number of dead rubber clashes in the home and away season. But when you get to the creme de la creme, when you get to the final series where your best football matches are supposed to be played, it's all about the finals. It's all about winning the grand final. Why would you sacrifice the integrity and the quality of the final series just to try and eke out a bit more relevance from your last 2 rounds of the home and away season? That, to me, therefore, I think is one of the clear examples of why the AFL and that perception of the money grab is, I think, unshakable. Because if football really is at the heart of your decision making, you would not be mucking around with the final series. Because this is supposed to be where the best of the best play. It's where the best games of football are supposed to be held. It's what everyone watches. Doesn't matter if your team is not in the finals. You are more than likely going to be watching the finals. Any lover of football will be watching the finals, regardless of if their team is in it or not. It's ridiculous to me It is ridiculous to me that you can justify impacting the finals because you want to eke out some more relevance and remove some dead rubber games at the end of the season. You just want more eyes on the TV. You just want more money. You really just want more money. Plain and simple. Any team that finishes 9th or 10th, yeah, okay, they'll have the joy, I suppose, of having an opportunity for their team to play in the finals. But at the same time, what ends up happening, though, is you have to understand that there is no chance that your team is going to be relevant in trying to win the games at all in the final series. It's just simply not going to happen. Now, you might end up fluking here and there, potentially. You might end up playing against a team that is really banged up and really injured that would have benefited from having that week off, but because of this new wildcard round, they no longer get the week off. You could end up sneaking one through. But there is only the tiniest likelihood, the probability of winning the flag from 9th or from 10th is as low as you could possibly have it. So I think ultimately, though, this rule, these changes to the AFL really are being followed by these big institutions with lots of money behind them, and it is becoming more Americanized. Now, just because it's simply being more Americanized doesn't necessarily automatically mean that it's becoming a bad thing. I'm not saying that, all right? But there is no doubt that the league and the game is going in a direction. It's deviating from what it has been. And you can't, in my opinion, sacrifice all of the traditionalists, whatever you want, if you want to call them that, or the lovers of the game. It is the best game in the world. And a lot of people say it's the best game in the world in spite of itself. Because I'm not sure if you just ask the general public and you ask them, is the AFL doing a good job in running its league? I don't think the majority will say yes. I think there's definitely a PR problem, and there's definitely an image problem arising out of the AFL at this point. And I do think that there is, of course, growing concern about the direction, and that's why a lot of people are looking at Greg Swann as a potential savior almost coming into the AFL. Because the overall feeling, the vibe of it, as if you will, does not instill a lot of confidence. And I think if you ask, more people than not will say that this idea of a wild card weekend is not good for the game. It's not good for the league. Perversion is a strong word. It really is. You could say it's a dilution of the meritocracy of the AFL. You could say that it is, of course, by and large, a cash grab. The ambition to generate as much money as possible. I fear, that it could be going down a Macbeth route, where unbridled ambition ends up creating more and more issues down the track that they then will feel obligated to fix, but they'll make more mistakes along the way to try and fix those mistakes and make it all go away. It's coming through. Wildcard round is happening. Wildcard weekend. We'll see how it goes. I personally don't have high hopes or expectations. I am not very keen to see it, to be honest. I don't think there was a great reception to opening round, but yet that is still here to stay. So that's part of my concern as well, is that even if the AFL get bad feedback, they're still going to do it anyway. So I think overwhelmingly the response to opening round was mostly negative, but that's still sticking around. And my concern is that even with this top 10 setup, going to be widely criticised and not enjoyed by the footballing public, I fear that the money made by the AFL will mean that they will stick with it, regardless of the fan experience. I hope that's not the case. This is a bit more negative of a video, but this is my opinion. I did want to rant, I did want to yell, I did want to scream a bit more when it first came out, but I got myself a shawarma in me, calmed down a little bit, and just thought I might present this in a bit more of a methodical video. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Am I being doom and gloom? Am I being too short-sighted? Are there positives to this that I didn't touch on? Is this really a good idea? I'm open to being convinced otherwise. I really am. And I'll be more than happy, absolutely, to have discussions in the comments down below to your responses. If there are certain points that I hadn't thought about, you can pose me as a question. I will certainly think about it. But for me, I just can't help but feel that this is a bad thing. I look forward to hearing from you guys what you think in the comments down below. No Big J in this video. I just decided to jump in front of the cam because I just wanted to have the time and the floor to myself to just put all my thoughts out there for you to hear. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will be, of course, doing the regular off-season videos for the Supercoach season as they come along in the coming weeks with training, opening, and things like that, keeping track, but looking also to be doing some more general football stuff like this one. So if you did like it, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye for now.